What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is the WD Lounge, where music, film, and culture connects. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in and like, share, and subscribe throughout the journey of this channel growing. I appreciate each and every one of you that's subscribed to the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, press the notification bell so that way you get all alerts when we do drop. And thank you so much for your support. With that said, we're here with another video, and we're talking about the follow-up video that I did not too long ago about Cameron and J. Cole's situation. And if you don't, for those who don't know, I did a video about this, discussing this situation and giving my take about, certain morals about keeping your word and stuff like that. If you're gonna promise somebody something, promise them something. You know what I'm saying? Or come correct when you give your word, because all you have is your word. You know what I mean? A man's word is everything. So once your word is not bond anymore, you pretty much your credibility is stained and it's pretty much washed away. But we're here actually to rebut this video, because J. Cole has come out and pretty much pulled up on Cam. And when I mean pulled up, he pulled up on Cam.
Can't be a stylist neither. When she's fixing somebody's collar, I don't know what may happen next time she... What's up, man?
I'm just saying, like, a lawsuit, bro. Lawyers?
It wasn't like that.
I'm just saying, bro, you got niggas like...
So now we're looking at a situation where they're finally going to have a sit down, and the interview is going to happen. And what I can say about this is kudos to you, J. Cole. Kudos to you to keeping your word, because we know I was very critical about him on this channel. The last time I did this video, I was saying that, a man is as good as his word. If you're going to keep your word about something, always keep your word, because everything else doesn't matter from that point. And I guess I'm sure you didn't hear my voice, but I'm sure there's other voices and other creators out there that was emphasizing that point out there. And I'm sure J. Cole is the man of the people, so he listens to his fans, he listens to the critics, and I think it's the most, and I think you realize that, and it's the most honorable thing to do. Hands down, it's the most honorable thing to do. If you're gonna do something with someone, and you're gonna promise them being there, then you got to keep your word on that. So hats off to J. Cole for showing up. But definitely this interview, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually going down today, or actually went down already. And definitely I'm gonna do a separate video harping back on that subject, and we're gonna talk about what was said, what was discussed, and how did that go about, if the lawsuit is still pending, if that was just a play just to get him to show up, or was this just a media stunt? Because I've been I was listening to Screwface and Chick Smooth talking about this. Shout out to those guys. If you haven't, if they talk more about the hip hop and genre, about they talk more hip hop than anything. So make sure you follow those guys at Screwface Jean and Chick Smooth. But I was listening to them earlier, and they were, there was speculation that this might be like a PR stunt, or everything was just all a play and stuff. But Screwface did follow back on that, and he did confirm that there was an actual lawsuit filed. So there is a 50-50 chance that it might be, but I don't think anyone would go out their way to file a lawsuit just to put a PR stunt. But then again, it's 2026. You never know what'll happen, man. Everybody, any and everybody will do anything for that view, for that attention, and for that reward, because the rewards come big now for views. So everybody goes out their way and does the extreme. But like I said, shout out to those guys for getting together. And I just want to harp on something real quick. I'm starting to notice a trend, and I think as individuals, we're starting to heal. I think we're starting to heal, because now we're in a position where people that are having quarrels with each other Well, maybe not on the hip hop side, maybe not on the music side yet, but like as far as the commentators and YouTubers, I'm starting to see a trend of guys stepping together to actually bury the hatchet amongst themselves. You know, with J. Cole and Cam and Cam linking up with each other. You know, even though this is off the, you know, they're not of the same genre, but you know, we got two sports commentators, which is Cam Newton and Jason Whitlock, who've been going at it back and forth with their discussions and their disagreements. And they were man enough to meet up with each other and discuss their disagreement. And what they got out of that is that both found a newly found respect for each other. And that's what it usually is about. You know, perception perception is everything. And when you hear one side to the story, chances are you're never going to get the full story. So you're always going to be on one side or the other, depending on who's telling it. But it's always good to meet up with the person that you have a quarrel with, you know, talk it out if it's feasible to be talked about and resolve the problem. You know, chances are 9 times out of 10 when there is a problem, it's always somebody that's creating the problem amongst the two. And when the two finally get that out their chest, you know, everything, you know, will be settled. You know, it's usually someone in the middle, or there's a misunderstanding, or things are just not processed properly, and we just need to take extra steps to have an understanding amongst everybody else. So I'm glad that people are starting to link up with each other to set aside their differences. Another one I can think of off the top of my head is Shannon Sharp and Mike Epps. You know, they had a little issue going back and forth online, and now they sat out on the Club Shay Shay show and they hashed their issues out. And now we're about to have Cam and J. Cole hash their issues out. You know, how far will we go? You know, will we get the music guys to issue their problems out? You know, will we have a sit down with Drake and Kendrick? John 50. All right, I'm playing. I know I'm going a little too far. Those guys will never get along or never make up. But I kind of like this. I'm intrigued to see what this interview is going to be about. But you know, hats off, like I said, to J. Cole. You know, I got a little more respect for him after this. You know, he actually showed up. Even though, you know, people might still feel a little indifferent about, you know, the whole beef situation, but that was a two-year affair. That was 2 years ago. It's dead and gone. People don't really talk about that, but it is synonymous to J. Cole at this point. But you can see J. Cole is starting to take steps to try to erase that situation out of people's brains and to show what keeps him relevant in the music industry, and you know, and what keeps him going, and the fact that he's now he's on his runs of interviews and stuff. It's great that he's definitely going to give Cameron his opportunity, Cameron the respect, and give him the interview that he so well surely deserved and what he was asked for. But you let me know what y'all think on the comment section. You know, what y'all think this interview is going to be about. You know, do you have more respect for J. Cole for stepping in and, you know, showing up and pulling up on camera and letting them know what's up? You know, I mean, do you agree? Do you agree if this is a sham? Do you think this was a beautiful marketing ploy between the two men? Let me know. Put it on the comment section and we'll discuss about it later. So until then, like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for joining us on the WD Lounge. We'll see you on the next video. Ciao.